Hi, this is Kimberly Knox, KK, your astrologer, kkastrology.com. This is my YouTube channel where we talk about what's in the stars for you and the bigger cycles that are constantly unfolding and those important events. A new moon, a full moon, those are events. It's a snapshot of the sky at the moment and what's happening with that energy and how it's affecting us here. So a full moon is approaching us tomorrow at 1:20 p.m. and a full moon brings everything to a head. We all are very aware of the energy around a full moon. It's heightened emotion. Things come to our awareness. The light sheds light on the darkness, so things come to light in a certain area. Uh, what we're talking about, the energy that we've had the last couple days has been wonderful because it's been in the sign of Leo. And last summer, Venus was spending an extra amount of time in the sign of Leo. It was also conjoining Jupiter at that time, bringing this fullness to and an awareness of what we really want to invest our time and passion in so that we can connect with something that we're going to build and go forward with. Because as you know, if you're building something for the long term, you need to have joy and a connection from the heart to make something last. And our tensions can be that much more uh, forceful, meaningful, and we can really put the energy into them to get back what we want. So the last couple days, what have you learned? What have you learned about your joy? What have you learned about romance? What have you learned about heart? What are your feelings around all of that so that you can go forward? And now we're going to be moving, and we just came out of the full moon last month in the sign of Leo. So we're just being reminded of all that. So now let's look at the full moon in Virgo. I like to do it right at the time because it's in our consciousness right now and we can be aware of it as it unfolds and what it means. Okay. So Virgo, Virgo is all about, if you know Virgos, Virgos are terrific of service and getting things done and staying organized and being on task and just being super efficient and practical. It is an earth sign and they're there to serve and get things done. Now, we've the ruler of Virgo is Mercury, and Mercury last month was extremely busy. So we're going to talk about that. But first, I just want to point out that Virgo also represents our health. Okay, this is a sign where it's the maintenance house in our own chart. Where that falls, where Virgo is in your own chart is where you are having to keep things, where you like to keep things organized, um, where you need to have some control over keeping things together. But the sixth house, the natural house of Virgo, is also the maintenance house. So Virgo is all about maintenance for the physical body. So what I want to point out though is that we still have Pluto and Uranus at a first quarter square. Seems amazing, but they came together in 66. So it takes a long time for those planets to get into a cycle where they're at first square. First square means we're taking a step out. It took a while though, because this first square held from June of 2012 all the way through last March 2015, and it's still holding really, really tightly here. This square, and I've talked about it before, Pluto asks us to transform our entire foundations, and Uranus in Aries says, go forward and close doors behind you, and you must be authentic. Well, to be authentic, we have to connect with what we love and what we want and where our passions are. And who are we? What do we want to express? Why are we here? All these things. And Venus really helped us out last summer connecting. And last year was a quieter year. The year of the sheep was a much quieter year, and the green sheep. So it was allowing us to make some change, close some doors. Uh, Saturn in Scorpio was also helping us to kind of clean up things. And Mars is there now bringing our awareness to things we might still have to clean up and get rid of. But so all of this now is going forward where we first had this consciousness of Virgo and the physical body and health being connected to the mind back in 66. But we have to remember that every cell in our body, every cell is constantly repairing and becoming new. The body does amazing things on a daily basis that would just astound you stats wise. But this every cell in our body is inseparable from our emotions, our mind, and our spirit. So that is why health in the realm of health is not just what you're feeding your body. And of course, you want to feed your body high quality food and water, but you also have to make sure that you're aligning your emotions, you're aligning your relationships, your environment, the way that you take care of yourself spiritually. And if that doesn't mean just go to church, but again, whatever spiritually means to you, meditation, mindful acts, and of course, physical body, keeping yourself physically exercised. So this whole thing is about balance, and every full moon, of course, is an opposition. Oppositions are a chance to balance things. So we're talking about some balance items in this full moon, and we're going to be looking at the balance of work, how much we put in our efforts to work and rest, and also mind, how our thoughts, and as opposed to our intuition, whether it's the rational mind or we're applying some intuition. So that's why during this time it's very good to actually meditate, because it allows us to connect, because the messages that we get are so useful when we're making business decisions and making changes and going forward with plans. And plans has been a big theme over the last couple months. So also about being critical, overly critical and detail-oriented, as opposed to having compassion. Because when you criticize another person, it creates separation between you. It also creates pain because it makes one person wrong or not worthy or not valuable. So remember these things going forward and utilize the good parts of that. Now let's talk about the rulers, planetary rulers of the 3 degrees. So around 3 degrees 33 minutes, we're talking the subdivisions of this mathematical degree are the signs Virgo, and Libra. So that brings into the play here Mercury and Venus. Well, Venus is going to be a busy girl the next few months, and we'll talk about that next. But Venus is going to be, because Venus is highlighted not only in the next full moon, in the moon of Libra, but also Venus is highlighted in the next complete solar eclipse. And we are feeling this solar eclipse already. So that's going to be my next video. And I'm really excited to talk about the eclipse. So Mercury's been busy. We talked about Mercury in January, January the 5th through the 25th. It just barely gets into Aquarius and it backs up and goes into Capricorn. So we were dealing with Mercury just really getting organized in this routine and connecting with Pluto and getting some powerful plan and realizing that the real gold is connecting with something solid and lasting. And that's what Capricorn cares about, because how can you build something if you don't have a solid foundation? And something that's real and lasting is not superficial. And then it allowed February 13th through the 14th, Mercury gets back into Aquarius, and it's at the point where it went retrograde. So now our minds can go on to being inventive and to being detached in a way that allows us to create and to bring forth this thought process that's going to excite us and bring us forward. And it's sitting here with Venus at this time. So let's talk about Venus and what Venus is going through right now, just in a synopsis. Okay, Venus is now at the point where it's conjoining with the moon for consecutive months here, and it brings us a message each time it connects. So March 7th is going to be the next time that it meets up in the sign of Aquarius. and then again in April, and then by April the 18th, which is the day after Mars goes retrograde, Venus goes below the horizon. So it's not visible to us here. So that means in the verbal sense, so in the sky, we can't see it. Venus is our sister planet. So what it's saying is we're germinating something pretty much. We're looking at our value in a much deeper way. Nothing can sustain value except for value from within. Not the clothes you wear, not the money that you have, not not the selfies that we take, whatever it is. We're so consumed with how we look and our appearance because of all of this. We must bring forth our value from within, and we're going to have that time period to do that from April the 18th specifically through June 6th, when Venus meets with the sun again. And we'll talk about that later, but just understand this process of value that we're bringing forth and how that's going to help us to go forward. All these cycles are unfolding, and it's very meaningful. So getting back to the full moon, this is a time where we have got to get our plan in order. Okay, so how well did we do during Mercury retrograde? How well we got Mercury groomed up, because Mercury was meeting up with Pluto several times. And when it meets with Pluto, there's an intense focus. Okay, so we're going to see how well we did, and we're going to have the tools to go forward with the way we need to get ourselves going here in the direction that we need to go and get the work done in an organized way and a routine that really supports us with all that. So we have some balancing features here. What else did I want to say here? About just Saturn is helping us get the plan detailed and keeping responsible here, going forward, breaking new grounds. And so Saturn, though, in the sign of Sagittarius, is not so rigid. It's more enthusiastic, okay, and it's opening us up to learning new things, which is fantastic. It's still the planet that's icy and is really concerned with our responsibility. So it holds us accountable in that way. And in this beautiful aspect that it's been holding with Uranus, it's supporting us to go forward in some authentic way, supporting us. At the same time that Pluto and Uranus in square are challenging us to break up the foundation and be unique. So with this full moon, we're going to have some awareness of what work we need to get done, where we are with our routine, where we are with our plan, get the tools to go forward, and understand that it's not just about pushing, being the workaholic. It's also about getting proper sleep, taking care of your body, incorporating meditation and yoga into the process so that you're connecting at a deeper level, because we are not separate from the universe. We are one. And our bodies are not just what we put into it and how we work it out. It is our environment and our emotions and our relationships. So getting that all together is going to be very important. So those are just some of the big things that I wanted to share with this full moon, but it is going to be laying out, helping you lay out where you need to get organized to go forward. And we're getting prepared for this eclipse, this total eclipse in Pisces. So all the Pisces Virgos are having amazing stuff going on for them. Changes. Some people are getting engaged and married and moving and new jobs. And of course, all of Pisces have Jupiter opposite them right now, so that's shedding nice light on them. And all of our Virgos have Jupiter in their sign, which is helping to support them with protection and growth in that area. So is there anything else we want to talk about before we move on? I just want to thank you for subscribing to my channel and making any comments that you like to. Reach out to me on Instagram, Kimberly Knox on Instagram. And this is where you're going to get some daily inspirational messages. Now, this is a general reading, and if you want to know how this full moon affects you personally, then you can reach out to me for a personal reading, and that's Kimberly Knox, kkastrology.com. And I hope you have a wonderful week.